Mortar and Pastry.
Hey guys, I'm Brian of Mortar and Pastry and I'm gonna show you how I made this giant breakfast cake. This is a mug cake and yung mga tinapay ay gawa din sa cake. It's for my cousin's birthday and mahilig siya mag-collect ng mugs, so I thought of making this one for him. If you remember our episode kung saan the kids tried our desserts, yung mga gumawa ng pancake are his kids. Kung hindi nyo pa napapanood, you can click the I or the link in the description. Bago tayo magsimula, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't, give this video a thumbs up, and share it to your family and friends. For this cake, I baked 3 6-inch round cakes. Let them cool completely, remove them from their pans, and then level off the top. Then I cut them in half so meron tayong 6 layers. Let's drizzle with simple syrup to retain moisture and let that soak in. This is completely optional but I love drizzling my cakes with simple syrup dahil mas moist and hindi naman siya nag-a-add ng too much sweetness. To make simple syrup, combine equal amounts of water and sugar, bring it to a boil and then cool. Habang pinapa-absorb pa natin ng simple syrup, let's make concentrated coffee solution to flavor our buttercream. Lagay tayo ng konting warm water sa decaffeinated instant coffee and mix it well until dissolved. Add this little by little sa ating buttercream, mix it well and add more as preferred. We will fill our cake with alternating layers of coffee buttercream and chocolate ganache. To add some crunch, let's chop some KitKats, then we can start assembling. To assemble the cake, let's add some buttercream sa cake board para kumapit yung cake once chilled. Fill natin with coffee buttercream and lagay tayo ng KitKats on top. Then add another layer of cake and this time fill with chocolate ganache. Continue doing this for the rest of the cake layers. Now, let's smoothen yung excess buttercream and ganache around the cake. Then, chill muna natin for 15 to 20 minutes to set. Once chilled yung ating filling, pwede na tayong mag-carve. Trim natin yung bottom edges around the cake para magmukhang puwetan ng tasa. Dahan-dahan lang sa pag-trim, a little at a time dahil medyo mahirap nang ibalik kapag natabas natin siya agad ng malaki. Once I'm happy with the shape, let's do our final coat with chocolate ganache. Then smoothen natin ito gamit ang piraso ng ginupit na acetate. I love using acetate pagka ganitong may mga curves dahil nakikinis natin siya ng husto on its shape. Then, chill natin ulit yung cake habang piniprepare ang fondant details. To make the handle of our mug, gumamit ako ng mixture of fondant and gum paste para pag natuyo hindi naman masyadong matigas at hindi rin sobrang lambot. You can make this one ahead of time to dry completely. Roll natin ito into a log and trim the sides. Curve it na parang letter C, then insert toothpicks halfway on both ends para mailagay natin siya later on sa cake. Make sure to mention these toothpicks to your client firsthand if you are selling this cake. Then leave it aside to dry. I rolled out white fondant, brushed the cake with some water for the fondant to stick, then covered the entire cake. Work the fondant into shape, then trim the excess around the bottom para hindi ma-pull off ng weight at mapunit. Work it into shape, then trim the edges to clean it up. Then I rolled some black fondant, cut a strip, and stick it around the bottom of our cake. Gumamit ako ng takip ng container which is smaller sa diameter ng ating mug cake as a guide, then trim natin yung fondant sa gitna gamit ang paring knife. Smoothen natin yung ganache, then set aside the cake. Roll tayo ulit ng black fondant and using alphabet cookie cutters, cut tayo ng super dad na tag. Then, dikit natin sa mug cake using paintbrush and some water. Then, let's add more ganache on top and spread it evenly. To make the croissant, ginamit ko yung cake hump para hindi masayang and then carved it into shape. I then iced it using coffee buttercream and covered it with a thin sheet of white fondant. Okay lang kahit hindi sobrang kinis para mas magmukhang natural. Trim natin yung excess fondant and ganun din yung ginawa ko sa baguette. To add details sa ating croissant, I rolled out white fondant na medyo manipis. Then, nagcut ako ng strip na slightly tapered yung isang side. This is for the center of our croissant. Ito yung mga magsisilbing parang layers or lamination kapag ka na-bake na yung ating croissant. For the sides, I cut the remaining fondant into 4. Then, dikit natin sa croissant using water, starting sa sidemost parts going in. Then, yung next 2 strips naman. And lastly, yung final strip sa center. Then, trim natin ulit yung excess. Sayang naman yung cake scraps kaya gumawa pa ako ng isa pa nito, so we have 2 croissants. For the details naman ng ating maiksing baguette, kuha tayo ng manipis na fondant and pilas-pilasin natin yung sides para dun sa scoring ng ating bread mamaya. Ito yung magmumukhang umalsa siya at natusta dun sa scored part ng bread. To add more texture gamit ang sculpting tools, naglagay ako ng scoring sa bread and some random lines sa croissants. Sa paggawa ng paint, paghalu-haluin natin ang brown, orange, yellow, and konting black na gel food color and dilute it with a combination of water and food-grade alcohol. Ang gamit ko dito ay gin. Nilalagyan ko ng konting water para may sheen or konting kinang yung finish niya. No exact formula sa kulay pero you can paint samples muna sa extra sheet ng fondant until ma-achieve yung desired tone. Haluin ng mabuti, then pwede na tayo mag-paint. Una kong kinulayan yung ating baguette na medyo nagmukhang hotdog bun or sausage just to have a base color. Then nilagay ko yung pinilas-pilas natin na fondant sa scored parts, then painted it again. Then I also painted yung ating croissants. Dinagdagan ko ng black and brown yung food color solution natin to make a darker tone for the sides and edges ng breads para magmukhang natusta sa oven. Dahil ang baguette ay medyo matte ang kulay after baking, gumawa ako ng mixture of cornmeal, powdered sugar, and cornstarch para matanggal yung glossy finish. Mix it well and pwede na nating ibudbod sa baguette. Habang hindi pa completely dry yung ating paint, budbud natin yung cornmeal mixture sa buong bread, rub it in and brush off the excess. Ayan, so ready na ang ating mga tinapay. Pwede na tayong mag-assemble. Nilagay ko na yung cake sa final cake board at lagay na natin yung handle na ginawa natin. Insert sa side ng cake gamit yung toothpick. Again, don't forget to mention the toothpicks and kung ilang piraso ang nilagay natin kung iba ang kakain ng cake. Before placing the breads sa cake, lagay tayo ng chocolate ganache, then pwede na natin silang ilagay isa-isa. Then, lagay tayo ng happy birthday tag made from a piece of fondant painted with gold luster dust. Lastly, using plain vanilla buttercream, pipe tayo on top of the mug gamit ang open start tip para may cream effect at hindi boring yung ibabaw. And that's it, our giant coffee mug and bread breakfast cake. Dineliver ko ito right away after filming, so fresh na fresh from the kitchen. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more cake decorations, dessert recipes, and baking tips that will help you compound sweetness at home. See you on the next video.
Mortar and pastry, baking memories. Mortar and pastry, we'll be baking, creating, compounding sweetness.